everyone, and welcome to the pilot episode of The Feels from a Distance. I'm very excited today to introduce my guest to you. You've probably seen her host the show Hotties, the new cooking/dating show on Hulu. You might recognize her from the new recent pages of High Times magazine. She's also a comedian with a brand new YouTube special called Jaded. Ladies and gentlemen, the very funny and talented Miss Jade Catta-Preta.
Hi, good to be here.
Hi, Jade. It's so good to see your face. It's so good to see your face.
You too. You look. Oh, sorry. We're cutting each other off. We're so excited.
You go first. You were the guest. We're here to listen to you talk, not me.
You look like a god, like a Jesus, like a weed Jesus in the middle of a weed field, just getting people high. I love it.
I can dig that. I can dig that. All right.
It looks cool.
Well, honey, you look as lovely as you did when we first met 18 years ago. I did the math. You and I worked on the same show together. Your very first gig in the industry, Secret Lives. Tell me about that show.
Oh my God. What a big deal that was for me when I got that. I knew nothing. I was a little baby in college and I replaced another host, which is something I did now later in life. But I learned everything I had to learn about hosting from that show. So I'm like incredibly grateful that I got that opportunity. And it was such a funny idea. And I want to find the footage so bad. So hopefully if this goes out, one of the other producers can find it and send us some Secret Lives footage.
If you go to YouTube and type in Secret Lives, you'll find the opening to the show. That's all I've been able to find is just the opening, but it has the name of the production company that produced it 18 years ago. So there's a lead right there. We might be able to track down some lost footage.
Yeah, I'm such a stoner. I'll start doing that right after we get off, and then it'll just be a tab amongst all the other tabs on my computer. But yeah, no, it's nice to reconnect. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. It turns out we have a similar connection. You and I both went to Boston. We went to Emerson College in Boston. For me, there wasn't much of a weed scene back then. Was there for you? Because I didn't kind of get that feel from you on Secret Lives.
No. I actually was not really into weed until like probably when I moved out to California. Like I was always aware of it and I wouldn't say no to it probably at a party, but I was kind of on that like, alcohol college train at the time. Just that. And just being slutty. Those were my vices in college. Oh. And dance, of course, dance and theater.
And theater, yes, gotta love the theater. What was your first time like smoking Cali weed when you made it out there?
It's funny because the night that I smoked Cali weed, like real Cali weed for the first time, was the first time I ever went to the Comedy Store. I talked a little bit about it on my High Times article, but yeah, I was all stony the first time I was there. I felt like I was flying.
Well, let's expand upon that. You felt like you were flying. Did it have a name?
I think it was like a really crusty old strain, like a Blue Dream. I don't remember what it was, but my friend at the time smoked me up. And it's funny because, I never knew how to roll. And now I wouldn't like enroll in a competition because those guys are very serious, but I'm pretty proud of how far I've come in my rolling skills.
Wow. Well, what's your cannabis consumption like now these days?
I probably smoke like a little bit of a spliff every night. I'd say it's like my calm down ritual. I'm done with my day. I get to smoke a little bit of weed at night. I smoke a little sativa with a tiny bit of tobacco, like a little sprinkle, which I know is bad, but I like it. I feel like it instigates like a little kick of fun.
Nice.
And yeah, or I'll eat like the weed. I really like the Pro Tabs that they have out here. Have you had
What
those?
are Pro Tabs?
They're like these little tiny pills that are THC pills. And they're literally like tiny and they're 25 milligrams. So I'll just take half of one and it's nice and chill and, and then I don't have to buy Xanax. So it all works out.
So 12.5 milligrams of THC is a good dose for you.
That's like that's like, I'll feel it because 5 is like, what are we doing?
Well, do you ratio it with other cannabinoids like CBD or at nighttime, especially CBN? That's a wonderful cannabinoid to help with sleep potentially.
Yeah, I definitely do more of the CBD infused stuff at night for sure. And I've gotten it all, the lotions, if it has CBD in it, I've tried it, the drinks, the pills, the candy, the cookies, the brown, whatever it's in it, I'll eat it.
But have you tried CBN?
I haven't. I keep hearing about it, and I know it's in a lot of the CBD products now, but I haven't like gone out of my way to try it yet.
It's what THC turns into when it gets old and oxidizes. So it's mildly psychoactive, but when it works together with THC, it provides a more sedative experience. Here in Missouri,
Interesting.
we've got a bunch of well,
Yeah.
not a bunch, but we've got some nighttime gummies that are formulated with THC, CBD, and CBN.
That's so interesting because I remember there was this whole discussion about like whether candy with CBD only had CBD in it, because I had read all this research that you needed the THC as a carrier in order to get the CBD. So that was like a big discussion. So what's your opinion on that? Like, are there things that can be purely CBD that our body can carry on its own?
Well, CBD is a weak interactor with our endocannabinoid system. That's a series of
Okay.
receptors that we have throughout our body. We've got what's called CB1 receptors, which are found in our brain and our spine. So it sends
Okay.
throughout our nervous system. And then our CB2 receptors, which are pretty much digestive and immune system. And on the cells in these parts of our bodies are these receptors. And what happens is THC comes along and attaches and docks in there. But CBD can come along to the same receptor and attach itself in a different place and lessen THC's ability to do its job. So the more CBD you have in a product, the less psychoactive it can be. So we have some gummies out here that are 10-to-1 ratioed CBD dominant. So you're getting 100 milligrams of CBD and only 10 milligrams of THC.
Wow. But it does help as a carrier in a way because it's hitting your same inhibitors, or does it matter? I mean, or it can just be by itself. Well, I don't know
if carrier is the right term for it. My understanding is that once it hits those receptors, it sends a message through an enzyme to your brain, and then all kinds of things happen thereafter.
Yes, that's cool.
So I guess in that sense, yeah.
What about as far as like, I've always wondered, like as far as like eating weed versus smoking weed, they're hitting different inhibitors now. You're saying that like different. So like it's sending different messages, right?
When you eat an edible, it processes, it's processed in your body differently. It's got to go through your digestive system. So when you eat an edible, always make sure you've got a little bit of food in your tummy. If you don't, if you eat it on an empty stomach, your stomach acids are going to destroy the medicine. If you eat it on top of a full stomach, then you're going to be waiting forever for it to digest. And then you can potentially eat more and over-medicate yourself. The thing is, you have to be patient because once it goes from your tummy, it's got to go a first pass through your liver where THC is turned into 11-hydroxy-THC. It's a smaller molecule and it is much more bioavailable and psychoactive for the body. So that's why when you eat an edible, it can feel longer and stronger than just smoking some flower.
This is so interesting. You should do little reels, like 30-second reels where you do fun facts. Because I think a lot of people would want to know this stuff. There's always like, there's hearsay and gossip about it. And people go like, oh, if you eat it with, with like vitamin C, it makes your high better or whatever. There's little things that we all kind of know, but we don't know. It'd be interesting. I think I think the education is really like the part that people are lacking, right? Because people are so scared of weed still, but it's so medicinal and it can be so helpful and additive to people's lives. So I've become such a ally, and I feel really free talking about it now because it's also more legal. But yeah, I wish more people would just try weed. I mean, a lot of the people that comment on my videos, I'm like, just smoke some fucking weed. Chill out.
Well, let's pivot back to you, and this is a good transition. You've got a ton of TV work on your IMDb page. Let's hit some highlights. Two Broke Girls, Californication, Modern Family, but your newest endeavor is called Hotties. Now, full disclosure, Jade, last night I dropped $7.99 on a month worth of Hulu so I could watch your show. I hate reality TV. I grew up when the real world ruined MTV. So I went into this kind of skeptical, but I got to admit, the concept of putting dates together in a food truck with hot ingredients, I hadn't heard of this before.
Okay, okay, I'll take it. I feel like that's a positive review so far. Yeah, it's unlike any other show that's ever been on TV. I always say that it's Next meets Hot Ones meets my stand-up. It's a combination of all that is raunchy and funny and weird, and yeah, it's just fun seeing these people who are like really cool and put together kind of lose their shit. So
Well, these
I
poor,
enjoy it.
beautiful people that you make eat these increasingly hotter foods. I mean, there's enough puke in there. You could be showing this on Tosh.0.
It's true. It was really exciting. I did not think they would be that violently, like I didn't think they would be reacting that way. We had all these liquids I told you that we put in the truck to help them alleviate the heat.
Hmm.
But we didn't label any of them, so they'd be chugging something and they would realize it was ranch midway through and they're like, oh, it's ranch. And there was a baby pool. I told the producers not to use the baby pool. I was like, why do we have this? And then everybody ended up jumping into the baby pool. So they were brilliant to have it. And
That one couple
yeah,
made out in it.
yeah, I love that episode, the sausage episode. They were really good sport. Everybody was such a good sport. That's what made it. Everybody is good at their job. I had never worked on such a cohesive set because I had to move so quickly and they put so much trust in me. As far as like formatting and structuring, like what I said at what part of the show. So it was
Well,
cool. It made me feel very free.
you've been working in the industry for a very long time, and the fruits of your labor are starting to show. I mean, getting trust like that, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I guess I've been hosting for 18 years. Now that you've said that, that makes me feel, wow, like that's
You got
pretty
some
nuts
skin in the
thinking
game,
back.
kid.
Yeah, wow. I couldn't even put my own makeup on then. I remember they were always trying to get me to wear makeup on Secret Lives. And I was like, but I don't do this. Now, if I do something, I'm beat. My face is beat.
No, you look beautiful, Jay.
Thanks.
Now, you're not only just someone who appears on television shows, you're also a stand-up comedian. You've got a new special out on YouTube called Jaded. Tell me about that.
Yes. So for the past 14 years, I've been going on the road. I've been featuring for other guys. I've been headlining. And last year, I decided to grind out finally all this curated material that I've been doing for the last 14 years and finally put my hour together. It's called Jaded because it's the material I've been doing forever. And it's kind of the material that I wore as a shield to the world a little bit. I feel like it's very surface level. It's funny and I love it. And it's very visceral. But now I'm just starting to really get into it, get into all of it. So this next special will be a completely different thing. But yeah, it's fun to see last 14 years of developed material. And I think it shows a little bit of my style. And I think it's really fun. And it's definitely a chapter in my life that I'm excited to close and put out there. And so please check it out. It's at Helium Comedy Studios on YouTube. It's free. And I'm amongst 12 other comedians who did their specials there. Incredible names: Alonzo Bowden, Ben Glebe, Randy Feltface, who is a puppet and has like,
Face.
yeah, his special almost has 1 million views. So you guys better make my special up there. The guy's a fucking puppet.
Now, you
So yeah, just trying to get the word out.
earlier you said you're a little bit raunchy in your comedy, and I've seen your stuff on Instagram. I've watched Dated. You do have some raunch to you, but you said you're closing this chapter. Are you going to be taking this armor off, or are you going to get even raunchier?
One can never tell until I get up there. No, it's not that it's a raunch level that'll change. I think it's more about being a little more vulnerable with how I tell jokes and what I tell jokes about versus, just kind of relying so much on, I don't know. I'm going to talk about sex forever. I don't know what I'm saying. I guess it's just, stand up feels different to me now that I've put out this special. It was a really it was a weird mental, I don't know, maybe it was a step that I needed or some kind of badge. It was an accomplishment. It was a growing up. It was a closing the door on these jokes. And now I'm allowing myself to write new jokes and allowing them, to maybe fall flat. And it's okay. I have the special. I did it. It's like this weird stepping stone that I feel really proud of.
Well, you should, Jay. Now, when you're writing your jokes, does cannabis enter the equation?
Yeah, like I'll be stoned writing a little bit. I tend to like kind of be, I would say I'm a little more like, I'm very academic when it comes to work stuff, even though I'm like, yeah, bro, what's up, whatever. So my writing is usually 30 minutes in the morning, no weed, because I'm not smoking in the morning unless it's the weekend. But yeah, I'll get stoned a little bit or late at night. Usually is when my jokes come to me when I'm like in bed. I'm like, and I get up and write a joke. So yeah, I think whenever I'm like chill, that's when a higher power comes through me and things come out.
Okay. How about when you're performing?
Never stoned on stage. I hate that feeling. I like it. I told you, I like it for control. Control. I love feeling like, you paid to come see me. You want an experience. You want your night to be amazing. You want to remember this night. And I feel like that I take that responsibility to heart. And I really want to make it the best night that I can for people. So yeah, I like to be kind of in control. And when I'm stoned, my rhythm is a little off. And I like to do a lot of stuff with singing. And I think a lot of comedy is musical. So I think you kind of have to, I don't know. For me, I had to sober works better for me on stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
When are some of your favorite times though to consume? I know you say sometimes you use it in the morning, you use it at night to help you sleep. Those are more medicinal uses, I would say. Are there any times where you feel like I want to feel this way?
I mean, I could smoke weed every day, all day, if you let me, if it was appropriate. I mean, I look forward to the day that I could just be high all day. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love to smoke. I like just love the way it makes me feel because my brain is a million miles an hour, as you can see when I'm talking. Even I lose train of thought and start a new sentence. So I think it does help me just like kind of chill out a little bit, calm down, be in the moment more. Helps me be more present. And
Mhm.
there's nothing better than smoking some weed and watching reality TV. I'm so sorry. I know you hate it, but I love it so much. And you know what? People say that reality TV is lowbrow and it's garbage, but I think there's a real interesting psychology to it that I also really enjoy. Just
Like
what
what?
happens to, just what happens to people when they're being filmed and they're aware that they're being filmed, and yet they still have these moments that are less than presentable. I just love the psychology of also they're being produced and yet they're being themselves. So it's this combination of like acting and yet how do they portray themselves? And I also, a lot of these people are very isolated before they're put in these situations, like
Mhm.
these dating competitions or these dating shows. Often, like my boyfriend was on Temptation Island. Story for another day. But before he was put on the show, he was in a hotel room, no cell phone, a couple weeks. So the second that they see people, there's also that fascinating thing of like people want to bond. And so seeing
Mhm.
people wanting to bond and create these relationships. And, to them, everything feels pretty real, as fake as it feels to us. Oh, it's a show, it's produced, these lines are being fed. These people are still living these situations. And I just find the whole mess incredibly entertaining.
Well, what about other stand-up comics? You mentioned some that are on the YouTube channel with you. Who are some of your comedic heroes, though?
Sarah Silverman, obviously, I'm obsessed with her. Maria Bamford, Margaret Cho, those are the women. Sebastian Maniscalco. Oh my God, saying his name really fucked up. Sebastian. David Tell is one of the greats. And then I got to open for some fabulous people on the road. Bill Burr, Kevin Nealon, Bobby Lee was one of my earliest mentors. So I have a lot of different influences, but I feel like nobody's quite done what I want to do. Oh, Joan Rivers, of course, obviously. Nobody's really done the thing that I want to do yet. So I feel like hopefully I'll be that person for someone.
Well, right now it's kind of feeling like you're becoming known for your cannabis use as much as your comedy. You were
Yeah.
on the series finale of Netflix Cooked with Cannabis. You were on an episode of Vice's Bong Appétit. You did 3 episodes of Getting Doug with High. I mean,
Oh,
are
I
you gunning
have.
for Doug Benson's crown? Because I'll call you my queen.
I don't know. I think there's other comics that are like bigger weed smoke. Like Rachel Wolfson is a big pothead comic. I feel like she's more leaning in that direction. I still want to get hired by Disney. Um,
You have
I
been
love.
hired by Disney.
I
Hulu's
have been.
owned by Disney.
I'm gonna keep getting hired by Disney. No, I love. It wasn't something I was open about for a long time, just because of that fear. But now that it's so much more legalized, and I can be more of an ally. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Doug Benson. It doesn't get better than Doug Benson. I love getting Doug at that show. Wow,
How did
that's a
you
fun
end up
one.
in High Times, though?
High Times was written by this girl named Allie, who's this incredible writer here in LA. I met her because she was doing a story at the Comedy Store, and I was one of the comics she reached out to. So we developed a good relationship, and so she works for High Times, and she thought it was just a perfect opportunity to do a little bit of a highlight. Did you watch the Bong Appétit that I was on?
I looked for it. In fact, that was the main reason why I dropped $7.99 on Hulu, because they have those episodes, but not all of them. But I did check it out. That the blind chef. Wow,
Isn't
what
that
a story
wild?
for that woman! What a story!
Incredible. Yeah. So she's completely blind and like she's one of the master chefs of the world. It's insane. And the food was delicious. I couldn't taste any of the weed in it. Oftentimes, like I don't love the way weed tastes. It's like a
Mhm.
little too like oily for me, the base of it. And the food was incredible. So I'm just eating it, I'm drinking, I'm smoking.
How
And
high
then
did you get?
the highest I've been ever. That's the highest I've ever been. Um, I should send you some pictures. They just had the whole place had. I've never seen more weed in my life. It was just, you would open these dresser drawers, and it would just be full of like, huge jars of weed, and
Oh,
um, it
sounds
was
like my dream
incredible.
kitchen.
It was like in a mansion too. And then I told you at the end, they all went to smoke this $50,000 piece. And it was so delicate. It was so scary to even touch it not high. I was like, how are you guys doing this? And then I got so high, I forgot how to push myself out and get up. Like I had kind of forgotten about my bottom half, which had never happened to me before, but that's cool. And then of course, getting down with high, I've done it so many times, but there has been a couple times in studio that I was like, ooh, did I get too high? Did I say too much?
When's the last
But
time you
yeah.
took a tolerance break?
Wow, I just did because I was on some medication. So I just wanted to give myself a little break. But I should probably, it is more fun when you take a break because then you smoke and you get high again, actually get high again.
Mhm.
You're like, wow, I forgot this feeling. So maybe I
24 to
should.
48 hours is what they recommend. Because what happens is when your receptors get full of THC, there's no place else for it to go. So you're oversaturated, and the receptors will actually draw themselves back inside the cells and recycle themselves. So it is then
That's good to know.
unavailable. It's amazing. Two
2 days,
days.
that's it.
2 days. You can slightly reset. If you are a heavy cannabis user like myself, it could take maybe up to a week just to fully clear it out.
That's how I feel. That's how I
Yeah.
feel. But this would be another fun fact
Yeah, it would
because
be
I
a
think
fun fact.
people
That's a
would,
good idea.
yeah,
You should check
people
out
would be
our
really
our,
interested.
our blog, Jade. Go to myfeelstate.com, check out our blog. We've done some stuff.
I
We've got
will.
a wonderful graphic designer that works with us. Her name is Kristen Williams. In fact, she's done all of the graphics for all 3 seasons of The Feels. She's going to be doing the graphics for this show, and she has
Awesome.
produced a wonderful series of little shorts that do exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's so, I think just education is the best. And I think it's fun. People want to know this stuff, fun little like to-dos and how to make things at home. I mean, remember water bongs? Nobody ever does that anymore. You could show people how to make water bongs.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the legal market in California. You've got a perfect view of what's going on. My understanding is that high taxes have kept the underground market alive and kept people from going to the dispensaries if they even began in the first place. How often do you go and visit a dispensary?
I actually don't do the dispensary anymore because I'm obsessed with this monthly subscription that you can get at home called Nug Club, Nug Box. And once a month, you get about $300 worth of product. I don't work for them. I don't know why I know so many details. And you get it for like 120. So it's market priced value. You can choose what's in the box and you always get new products. And then you can also add on other products for cheaper price. So I just feel like I hate spending money on drugs. And so
is
I
this
do that.
something I'm sorry to interrupt. Is this someone that
Oh,
comes
no,
to
please.
your door with the box, or do they send it through the mail?
No, they show up you have to meet them with an ID and they give you the box. And I just love it. I think it's really convenient. And I mean, the convenience of being able to get weed is incredible. Obviously, the price sucks balls because it's so expensive. I mean, it's every time you go to the weed store, it's $100. you don't spend any less.
Yeah, but don't you miss the social activity of going out, going to the store, talking to the bud tenders, finding out what's there?
No, they're usually like hot girls who are barely there. So it's not as fun. Sometimes you get somebody who's like really educated in it and they show you cool new products. But no, I don't know. I like every once in a while I'll go to a weed store because you get points, I'm like, ooh, points. But I just love the delivery aspect of it. Like I get weed delivered that, or I use Ease a lot, which is another delivery place. And I mean, you can even get mushrooms delivered in California now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I know Oregon legalized them, and I think Colorado is voting on legalizing psilocybin. So
yeah, and you get chocolate bars, and it's a really cute place. You get them delivered straight to your house, and they'll even give you like a little bit of weed for free as a like, look at this. We might not go to the moon while I'm alive, but mushrooms delivered to your door.
Capitalism at its finest. Cannabis
really
is just catching up. Well,
It's
Jade,
true.
it has been so great to catch up with you. Wow.
Please, everybody, go watch Hotties. It's on Hulu. All episodes are airing right now. Check out my special Jaded at Helium Comedy Studios on YouTube. And I also have a musical version of my special called A Jade is a Jade that's coming out. I don't know when this comes out, but the musical will be live October 20th for 2 weeks. The tickets are $10. You can watch it from home. Go support live comedy. It's beautiful. All the proceeds go to me.
That's right. So when this episode hits the air on Halloween, that's going to give you exactly 3 days to go and see Jade's musical. So go and definitely check it out. Miss Jade Catta-Preta, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks to all of you out there for watching. We'll see you next time.